We actually write our albums thinking in terms of vinyl. We've always, all our records have always been put on vinyl, and we always think of the albums of having a side A and side B. So yeah, vinyl is very important to us. I mean, the thought's there from the beginning. Usually, it's not usually an afterthought. So we always think about how especially the Static Tensions. We wrote an album. We thought, okay, this is the kind of song we want first. This is what we want second. We plotted out what kind of structure we wanted the album to have way in advance. We didn't record a bunch of songs and just try to throw them on, try to sequence them together to fit on an album. We thought it out as we were writing it. My opinion kind of changes over time. It's a reality, so I don't think there's any point in getting upset or bent out of shape about it. I think it is a reality. That's how things are now, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. And having time to look back on it now, since it really started to where most people can, just download anything they want free, I really don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, it hasn't hurt us really. I mean, we still sell as many records as we have since the beginning, if not more, even though people can download them easier now. I think for underground bands, it's really helped a lot. I think it helps bands get heard a lot easier, and I think it's helped people get into all kinds of music, because I know I can't afford to buy every record that I want, but there's plenty of things I want to hear, and I'm a lot more likely to branch out of what I would normally listen to, because I don't have to risk blowing money on something. So I've gotten into tons of music that I may never have gotten into if I'd had to originally buy it. But I think it's important for fans of bands to support the bands they like, because if the bands aren't getting support, they're not going to be able to survive. I mean, recording's not free, pressing records is not free, like vinyl, every gas is definitely not free. Keeping a band's not free. All the things that the money it takes to run a band, that stuff's not free. So if you really like a band, I think it's important to support it. I've definitely put my money back into it. If there's bands that I like a lot, I'll definitely buy their record or buy something from that band, because I know they need the money and I want that band to continue making music. So I think as long as fans still do that, it's great. Oh yeah, I mean, I was definitely stoked. I've certainly played Rock Band and Guitar Hero and all that stuff. So I think it's great that people can play one of our songs if they want. I'm pretty involved with that stuff. I like to give the artists room to do their own thing. I've learned over time that, we just basically ask artists to base art off of lyrics, or listen to the music, and try to do something that'll fit our vibe. And I generally leave them alone, but for the final product, I definitely like to have some sort of say, and the band as a whole does. We don't want to put anything out there that's too weird or doesn't fit. Sometimes it happens, but we try as much as possible to be involved without stepping on other artists' toes. We had a meeting with John and we talked about it, and we talked about ideas and whatnot, and he kind of just filled us in on what he was up to, and I think the only really input I put in at all was the colors that I was wanting to have for it. I had specific colors in mind, and but yeah, I mean, with somebody like John, you're gonna get something good. You don't have to you don't have to worry too much about what you're going to get from him, because you know it's going to be stellar. Sometimes, yeah. Definitely with Spiral Shadow. You know, I kind of had a concept that I wanted to focus on lyrically, and Laura was down with it too, so the two of us focused lyrically on the theme of distance. And so we worked very closely with the artist John Santos, getting the art to represent that as well. And so we kind of had a concept of how we wanted it to look before, you know, kind of pitched it to him, and then he started sending us sketches, and, you know, we put back our feedback. So that one was a little more intensive on our end. But even with that, John still, you know, he exceeded our expectations. I don't even know how I managed to get through that, to be honest. I've never been in so much pain in my life. I got knocked off the ground, and I got severely shocked, and felt like my face was on fire that whole set, but I just tried to shake it off the best I could and just do it. You know, it was a choice of not playing or playing, and, you know, with that many people standing there waiting, I didn't want to let anybody down, so I just went for it. I just play differently, you know. We improvise a lot during our sets, so I'm not a stranger to that. So keeping focused, being in that much pain was a little hard. But once I just kind of, the pain went numb, and I just kind of got into the zone of the show, that replacing those parts wasn't a big deal at all to me. You know, there's always some sort of noise I can make, you know. Yeah, and luckily everybody picked up on the cues and everything, because, you know, we didn't even have time to have a discussion or anything. You know, basically I was trying to get my composure in the back, and they're like, "You play now." And so we had no band meeting or anything. We just got up there and did it. But, you know, we know each other well, so, you know, it wasn't my finest hour by any means, but, you know, everybody, the rest of the folks in the band, I think they did a good job of picking up. You know,
thank you too.
Oh, sorry, I got sidetracked, man.